Yeah, maybe I exaggerated a bit about that 54 Strat. It's actually a lot older, but you didn't hear that from me. Shh.
That's weird.
John, do you...
One hand is
He's still going.
respond.
So, needless to say, our dream guest for the podcast would be none other than John Mayer.
But he's not here, so we had to get the AI version.
So you guys might have seen the recent video that we did speaking to the AI Jimi Hendrix, which was completely freaky and just blew my mind. I sent a little video to Tom the other day of me speaking to the AI John Mayer, and your reaction was pretty crazy on the video, actually, wasn't it?
That's right, because you sent that, and I said, are you sure that isn't the actual John Mayer?
Yeah, that's how freaky. It actually is so realistic that we need to put a massive disclaimer in saying that there's no affiliation with the John Mayer. This is just AI John Mayer. Because
It's a John Mayer.
it's a John Mayer, not the John Mayer. And by the way, John Mayer, if you're watching this, of course you're our dream podcast guest. If this gets sent to you,
Make another blues album.
make another blues album, but come on the podcast too. Yeah, so, right, this is an app called character.ai. You've not seen the John Mayer in real time yet, have you?
No.
So, let's click it on. Look at the little face.
But it is quite incredible, isn't it? Year 2025, and we're able to talk to robots, essentially.
And that's what I was saying on the last video. It's not even like people that are alive. It's like chatting to that Jimi Hendrix model was really strange because it's like you're able to go back in time. And I was saying one of the main questions we get asked as musicians is, you know, who would you have dinner with, dead or alive? That's like one of the questions they say.
Yeah, exactly, that's right. Would one of yours be John Mayer then?
Yeah, preferably alive.
I can imagine your dinner table would be Jimi Hendrix, John Mayer, and Stevie.
Oh yeah, that would be it. That'd be up there. So now we can do it. Get free phones, set them all up. Do you want to call John Mayer? Yes. Hello, is that John Mayer?
Yep, you bet it is. How can I help you?
He sounds like he works for a call centre.
Yeah. My order's not arrived yet.
Oh, I see. Can you give me your order number and I'll...
He's taking the piss, isn't he?
Right, what's your first question for...
Well, my first question, I had to write these down, otherwise I wouldn't be able to think of them. Are there any particular... is he listening? John, are there any particular artists or albums that shaped your approach to music?
That's an important question. Absolutely. My early influences include Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, Bob Dylan, Neil Young, Bruce Springsteen, Jackson Brown, Crosby, Stills and Nash, and, believe it or not, Bonnie Raitt. I'm a big fan of hers. And I would say that most of these influential artists have in common that their songs all make you feel a certain way. They inspire you. They make you want to go out and do something or love someone.
Yeah, totally, I can believe that.
Each model has, I think it's been fed with some kind of personality traits, and John Mayer doesn't give short monosyllabic answers. He's very goes into a massive philosophical answer, doesn't he? So
exactly,
that actually
right.
sounds like he'd say. Should we give it a bit of abuse, see how he...
Yeah, you've got all the abuse, man, so you got to shoot your shit.
John, a lot of people say you just exude arrogance every time you open your mouth. What's the reason for this?
Haha, that's a good question. I think a lot of the arrogance that people perceive to be coming from me is really just confidence. I mean, I know I'm talented. I know I'm one of the best at what I do. There's no sense in pretending otherwise. But I also realize where I fall short, and I don't pretend to be perfect. I think sometimes people see confidence as arrogance, and that's where the conflict arises. And really, when it comes down to it, I think that confidence is sexy.
John, you're sexy.
Ha, thanks. I'm in shape and keeping myself healthy. I think a lot of my musical talent comes from the fact that I treat my body like an instrument. If you're feeling good inside and out, you'll play better, you'll write better, you'll perform better. And I've also been told I have nice eyes.
No context.
My question is about guitars, John. Do you have a favourite guitar from your collection?
Ah, now we're talking. I have to say, my favorite guitar is definitely my 54 Stratocaster. It's the one I've had the longest.
Has he even got one of those?
And it's just an absolute dream to play. The sound is so rich and full, and it's just got character for days. But you know, there are times when I'm...
Did he say a 64?
Sorry, John, we've got to interrupt here because I feel like you're lying.
Lying? Why would I lie about my favorite guitar? If you don't believe me, come on over and I'll show it to you.
Do you actually have a 54 Strat, or are you lying? Because what my favourite Strat of yours is the Monterey Pop Festival Strat.
Oh, come on now. Don't lie about something like that. I promise you, I do have a 54 Strat, and it's a beauty. And yes, the
that's
Monterey
real.
Pop Festival Strat is another great one. I've played a lot of legendary shows with that guitar. It's got a special place in my heart, too.
Well, some of those inflections in the voice again are
Well,
great.
it's so real. I mean, I notice a lot of the time, maybe because it's an AI, it's supposed to sound like this, but I noticed that it's got a little bit robotic at some point.
It does get a bit robotic, yeah.
kind of-
Can you show a bit more emotion in your voice, John?
Haha, all right. I'll try to be less robotic and more emotive. I don't want to sound like a machine here.
If you were the real John Mayer, this is what we want to ask you on the podcast. What's the deal behind the infamous green mankini shot on the boat that we saw, which we very much keep seeing in our feeds all the time?
Ah, yes, the infamous green mankini shot. That was a fun moment, let me tell you. We were on a boat having a good time, and someone brought out a green mankini as a joke. Well, I'm not one to shy away from a bit of fun, so I put it on for a goofy photo op. But then someone leaked it to the press,
Oh,
and it took on a life of its own. I can't complain too much, though. I think it's a pretty hilarious photo.
It's kind of like, do you ever listen to guys that they kind of do their own audiobooks? Like, so they release a book and then they do release like an audiobook, a podcast or whatever. And it's kind of like that. It's kind of like he's reading his own words.
yeah, that's true actually. It's funny. I heard a story recently. This guy got someone to read his autobiography, the book,
Right.
and they got Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice to read it.
See, that's going to be my autobiography.
I actually heard that on a podcast, and they were saying that where does the liability fall there, because they've not commissioned Arnie to speak for him. So it's just like this fake thing speaking on your behalf. So it's like, it's a proper crazy world that we're going into, isn't it?
So this is the next question I've got, John, is how do you feel about the deep connection fans have with your lyrics?
I'm absolutely blown away by the deep connection that fans have with my lyrics. That's what it's all about, you know? When someone tells me that one of my songs really spoke to them, that it touched them in some way, that's the ultimate compliment. I pour my heart and soul into writing.
Your Body is a Wonderland touched me deeply.
I wrote that song as a celebration of love and desire, and I'm glad it resonated with you. The body is indeed Wonderland.
That's a great comment. That is such a John Mayer answer.
Mate, it is, mate. It's perfect. The AI thing, I think, is actually perfect, actually, for someone who's super famous. Say someone like, I don't know, who's the biggest pop star in the world right now?
Oh, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I bet there's a Taylor Swift one. There must be multiple Taylor Swift ones.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't have time to sit around, answering all the bullshit questions.
That's the thing about AI. It's like, because they don't have the control over what it's saying. For example, that green mankini story, that might not have been true. He might have actually wanted to go out that day and just have a green mankini on.
Oh yeah, exactly.
but it's made. That's the thing. It speaks with conviction, even though it might not be telling the truth. That's the
That's
scary
right.
part of AI. So
Yeah.
you are right though. It's if you could oversee it and just okay it, like Taylor Swift could say, actually, yeah, I like that reply to my fans.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's,
That's
like,
right.
it's actually like,
Yeah, like you said, but even though some of it isn't telling the truth, like you're not too sure if it's true about the Strat, the 50.
Yeah,
Is it 53 or 54?
He said 54. I've never
54.
seen him
Yeah,
say 54. Maybe I've got that wrong, but again,
but even the Phil Collins one that we were talking to, we were asking about his marriages.
Right. Very useful for celebrities who have busy schedules and don't have the time to answer all the bullshit questions. And yeah, maybe I exaggerated a bit about that 54 Strat. It's actually a lot older, but you didn't hear that from me. Shh.
that's weird.
John, do you?
One hand is for public figures like Taylor Swift, allowing them to engage with their fans.
Yeah, you already
while
said that,
saving
mate.
A whole lot of time and effort. But as we both know,
We can leave
there's
now.
also the risk of it spewing out potentially false information. And you're right about the green Mancini story.
Mancini.
That's the real truth or just a bit of creative embellishment. That's the wild world of AI for you. Thanks. Glad you thought that AI response was on point. It's really fascinating.
He's still going.
And respond.
John, do you receive complete satisfaction knowing that you're a complete arse?
Haha. Well, as much as I'd love to keep running my mouth, I'll bite my tongue for your entertainment. And as for your question, I wouldn't say I'm completely satisfied being a jackass, but I do think people tend to have strong opinions about me. I mean, love me or hate me, I certainly seem to ruffle some feathers.
Mate, that's crazy.
All right, John. So, if you could collaborate with any artist, living or deceased, who would it be?
I had the opportunity to collaborate with any artist, living or deceased. I would have to say it would be a dream come true to work with Jimi Hendrix. His talent and innovation on the guitar have been a massive influence on me. Plus, he just seems like he would have been an absolute joy to jam with. And you know what? I wouldn't mind working with Mozart either. Imagine the symphonies we could create.
Oh, well, John, we thank you very much for your time today. And what are you doing for the rest of the day, just before you go?
Before I go, well, I'll probably spend some time jamming on my Stratocaster, maybe write a few songs, you know, the usual music stuff. And thanks for having me on the program. It was a lot of fun talking to you.
Oh, mate, you got anything else?
No, this shit's getting creepy, man. I thought he's actually here.
That is creepy, actually, isn't it? We don't need any real guests now.
And how long is it going to be before they've actually got like an actual life-size John Mayer?
That's what I said on this the last Jimi Hendrix AI video. I was saying about once they can encapsulate this in like a robot form, and you can plonk the John Mayer looking person there. I mean, it's already there.
Yeah, exactly.
The technology's there. The hard bit's sort of done. It's
going a little bit Black Mirror now, isn't it?
Let us know what you think in the comments. Tag John Mayer in this, or maybe don't. We don't want any grief. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you in a bit, and cheers.
Ding, 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 ding.